Hey, freaking oh, what is up, everybody? Coach Chad here, CEO of the Next Level Coaching Academy and creator of the Assistant Coach Academy, which is actually going to be a pretty vital part of today's podcast, because what we're going to be covering for you guys today is, should you really be an online fitness coach owning your own business, or should you work as an assistant coach for a coaching team? We're going to break that down. I'm going to ask you guys ask you guys some questions that you guys will have to get a little insightful, get a little deep, and really work through this question. And I'll explain why this question is important in a minute, but I'm flipping pumped for this podcast. And yes, I did just say flipping. One of the new sales reps that we brought in, his name is Carl. And I'm like picking up on his verbiage. He says flipping. He says groovy. He is he's from South Africa and also lived in England. So he has a very rich accent. And I love the verbs, the verbs. Wow, I'm doing great with verbs today. I love the words that he uses. Groovy. It reminds me of Austin Powers. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but anyways, I digress. Let's dive into today's podcast. So, very important question that we're going to be asking today. And I'm going to ask you guys to be a little introspective. Ask yourself these questions. If you have to pause the podcast and think through some of the questions, please do, because I think this is a very, very important question to answer, because ideally it's going to lead to your happiness, right? The reason that we go down this career path of becoming coaches is because we ultimately want to be happy. We want to help other people. We want to make money, right? These are all things that we want to do. So we have to make sure we're making the right choices. All right. And I personally believe that being an assistant coach is going to be something that is normalized as this online fitness realm kind of progresses. All right. And I truly believe that we are the first coaching company that has a program that teaches people how to become assistant coaches, and not only teaches them how to become assistant coaches, but we even have our employment pool where we bridge the gap between being an assistant coach and finding a job. Obviously, we have the Next Level Coaching Academy, right? And we've helped over 1,000 people grow profitable online fitness businesses to this date. And a part of that journey of growing your online fitness business is eventually you're going to need assistant coaches if you want to continue to scale. So if we have this pool of employers that are looking for assistant coaches, and we also have this pool of assistant coaches that are looking for employment, we kind of play matchmaker, and we help out our ACs. All right, we'll get into the specifics a little bit more, but like I said, very vital question. I truly believe this is where the industry is going. I think there will be a very clear-cut line between I want to be an assistant coach and I want to be a business owner. But my goal of this podcast is to bring this question to light and hopefully help you make the decision on what's going to make your career a success, and also make you happy in your career as well. All right. So let's answer that question. Are you the business owner, or are you the assistant coach? And I want to start with how the Assistant Coach Academy was even created. All right. So like I said, we've helped over, I don't know the specific number. I just know it's over 1,000. It's probably closer to 1,200, but we've helped like right around 1,200 online fitness coaches grow and scale profitable businesses. And here's what we've learned through that process of helping a very large subset of people. What we learned is not everybody wants to be the business owner. And as harsh as it is to say, not everybody is cut out to be the business owner as well. Okay. A lot of people get into this because they just want to coach, and they think their only avenue in doing so is creating their coaching business, when they actually really don't want to be a business owner. They don't care about sales or lead gen or marketing, or they don't care, that they're not really passionate about business. They're passionate about coaching, and they think the only vehicle that they have to becoming a coach is owning their own coaching business. Wrong. Because we created the Assistant Coach Academy, right? And the assistant coach role is becoming this big thing. So that's why we created the Assistant Coach Academy, is we saw this need for individuals to have a different vehicle to becoming a coach other than just becoming the business owner. All right. So here's what being an assistant coach is, and then here's what the Assistant Coach Academy does. All right. So being an assistant coach does not mean that you're like an assistant to the coach. So you're only doing assistant like VA type work. That's not what that means. It means you're a coach, okay? And it means that the company is going to do all the lead gen for you, is going to do all the sales for you, is going to get you all the clients, and you're going to have a roster of clients, all right? And that roster really depends on the business model. All right. There's really kind of two ways that it goes here. One, you're either going to have about 80 to 100 clients per your roster. And that's for companies where they charge a little bit less. The check-ins are a little bit less in depth. Your check-ins, you'll probably do about a 10 to 15 minute check-in per client per week, right? Which equals out to about 30 hours of work a week. So you're like, oh my God, 80 to 100 clients. How the hell would I manage that? Well, it's really only about 30 hours of work a week. That's one way, right? Then there's another business model where you take about anywhere between 30 and 60 clients, but it's a lot more one-to-one attention. Maybe you even get on one-to-one accountability Zoom calls with every client every week. And you're spending about the same amount of time, 30 to 40 hours a week, but you're just taking less clients and giving them more one-to-one attention. Okay. So that's kind of, what it looks like to be an assistant coach. You're really just asked to take a handful of clients, right? Take a roster of clients, and your sole role is to ensure that one, the clients get results. Two, that you retain the clients, right? That the clients are staying for longer than just their initial term. And usually most assistant coaching roles, you're asked to market, right? Like you're asked to continue to post on your social media and spread awareness around the brand. There are some assistant coaching roles where you are asked to make your own sales, but it's very rare. All right. And there's some assistant coaching roles where you're asked to do all the client onboarding, but it's also very rare. In most cases, when you're an assistant coach, you're just marketing, coaching your clients, and retaining your clients. It's relatively a pretty simple job, and the payoff is pretty good. Honestly, you're getting paid anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 a year. And being an assistant coach, you get to work from home, right? You don't have to go to a gym. And most personal trainers are making about $30,000 to $40,000 a year, and they have to go to a gym. All right, you get to work from home, and you're making about $50,000 to $100,000 a year. It's a really freaking good gig. All right, so that's what it's like to be an assistant coach. Now, what does the Assistant Coach Academy do? How do we help you get a job? All right. So what we have is we have a course, and inside of that course is all the skills that you're going to need to be an effective assistant coach. In addition to that, we also teach you what it's like on the daily operations to be an assistant coach. We also teach you about the finances of being an assistant coach. Most assistant coaches are 1099 independent contractors. And we teach you a plethora of information about what it's like to be an assistant coach, so that when you step into your role, you already have a really good understanding. You're basically already trained to step in and be effective, which makes you extremely attractive as an assistant coaching candidate. All right. And that's also another thing we teach you. We teach you how to interview well. We teach you what employers are looking for. We really teach you how to stand out in the list of applicants that any employer may have. All right. So we do all that. We also have a coach that coaches you, and her name is Sarah Carlucci. If you guys don't know who Sarah is, my girlfriend Caitlin owns her own coaching company called Strive to Thrive. And Sarah is their head assistant coach, meaning she takes the majority of the clients, and she also manages all the other assistant coaches on the team. So she's been there, done that. She knows everything about the role, and she's a coach for the Assistant Coach Academy. Now that's a tongue twister, isn't it? So you get a call with Sarah once a week. It's a group call. On that call, you're able to ask all your questions. It's a 1 hour long call, so you'll have plenty of time to ask your questions. You also get an orientation call, and you also have a Facebook group for same day questions. If you have any questions that come up between the Wednesday and Wednesday for the calls, then you could just pop in the Facebook group and get a same day response. You also get the course. And then the last thing that you get that I personally think is most valuable is you get the employment pool, which basically means that you get access to all these employers. So how the employment pool works is you fill out a form, we get your form, we create your profile. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like Tinder. It's kind of like Bumble. We create your profile, and we have this board we use monday.com, and we have this board of all of our assistant coaches that are inside of the pool. When an employer asks to be entered into the pool, you go into the pool, you skim through all the employer would skim through all the profiles, and they would pick the ones that they want to interview. They would contact those individuals, and then they would set them up for interviews. And then, the rest is history. You have to run the interview. You have to land the job. All right. So that's how the Assistant Coach Academy works. All right. So now the golden question, right? You know what an assistant coach does, you know what the Assistant Coaching Academy does, but now the golden question, are you an AC, right? You may have been listening to this podcast and go, man, maybe I really am an assistant coach. Maybe I'm not a business owner. Well, hey, let's figure it out, because what I've noticed is there's really a couple of key elements that separate you between being a true business owner and a true assistant coach. And I'm actually going to do a little anti-sale here. All right. If you are leaning towards being an assistant coach because you feel like you're just, going through a rough patch in business, but you actually truly want to be the business owner, stick it the freak out. Because I've also seen a lot of business owners who go through a minor rough patch and they're like, maybe this isn't cut out for me. But really in their heart of hearts, they want to be an entrepreneur. And then they quit and they become an assistant coach. And then they have some success as an assistant coach. And they're like, oh, sorry, I actually really want to be a business owner. And then they leave their job and screw over the business. And I would hate for that to become your reputation. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're just going through a rough patch, stick it the freak out. Don't quit. Don't become an assistant coach, then quit your assistant coaching job to go back to entrepreneurship. All right. It's a really, really bad look. All right. So that's my anti-sale before I go back into these questions. All right. So first question is this. All right. Most assistant coaches get into becoming a business owner and creating their own business because they think it's the only vehicle for coaching. And really, at the end of the day, all they want to do is coach. They have no interest in marketing. They have no interest, not love, right? Because some business owners don't love marketing. Some business owners don't love lead gen. I'm saying interest. Like the only reason they're in this is because they actually really want to coach. They could care less about any of the other stuff, marketing, lead gen, any of the other aspects of being a business owner. They don't even want to be in charge. They just want to coach. And like I said, they think this is the only avenue that they have to become a coach. All right. So that's really the first telltale sign of if you should become an assistant coach versus if you should be a business owner. If you want to be a business owner, if you like being in charge, if you like marketing and sales and all these other things, then you are true a business owner. But if you just got into this because all you want to do is coach, then you're probably an assistant coach, because what's going to happen is if you go and start growing a business, the activity you're probably going to do the least of is coaching. You're probably going to be doing more sales and marketing, because that's what being a business owner is. Eventually, you actually offload the coaching and you move more into the sales department of your company. And then eventually you hire people to do sales and you move more into management. And then eventually you move out of management and you move into leadership and you're leading the managers, right? This is kind of the progression of becoming a business owner. And if that's something that you don't want, if that's not what's pulling on your heartstring, if coaching is true is what's pulling on your heartstring, you're probably an assistant coach. You're probably not a business owner. Okay. All right. I'm gonna add one more layer of complexity to that. All right. Not every business owner, this podcast is going to be a mind fuck, isn't it? Not every business owner wants to build an empire either. All right. There's different degrees of being a business owner. There are some business owners that do like sales and do like marketing but also do like coaching. And they really just want to be the one man or one woman show and just kind of do all the things. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. There's different levels to being a business owner. There's individuals that want to build the empire, right? And they want to be the CEO and they want to take as many clients as possible, have as many staff members as possible, and really just scale the business to oblivion. I would classify myself as that. Then there's kind of a step below, right? Where they want to have some staff members, they want to have a team, but they don't want to build like Coke and Pepsi and have this massive corporation. All right. Then there's kind of a step below that. And the step below that is the one man or one woman show who wants to do this full time, but doesn't mind wearing all the hats and actually kind of enjoys wearing all the hats. Then there's kind of one step below that. And that's the part-time business owner, right? Somebody who likes having a job, but also wants to own their own business on the side. And there's, like I said, there's different levels to being a business owner. But if you have no interest in the one commonality between all those levels of being a business owner is they want to be the business owner. Right? They want to be in charge. And really the question that you have to answer for yourself here is, do you want to be in charge? Do you want to be the business owner? And if the answer is no, then you're probably more suited for assistant coaching. Okay. So here's the next thing that you would have to ask yourself is what do you value, right? What do you value most? All right. Most business owners really value these things. They value growth. They value leadership. and they value success, meaning they value more of these power traits, right? Success traits. They want to grow at all costs. Growth is really where they get their satisfaction from. If they're growing, they're excited. All right. Assistant coaches more value passion and helping. At the end of the day, their main thing that they value, the reason they get into this is they want to help others and they're passionate about helping others. Now, once again, here's that layer of complexity. I'm not saying that all business owners don't value passion and helping people, because that would be dumb of me to say. And I also on the flip side, not all ACs, not all assistant coaches don't value growth and success. That's not true. It's what do you value more, right? There's a sliding scale here. So if you're 60-40 in favor of growth, leadership, and success, but you still are passionate about helping people, you're probably the business owner. If it's the flip side of that and it's 60-40, you really just care about, passion and helping people. But yes, you want to grow, right? But you're okay growing as an employee and not as a business owner, right? That's what I'm talking about here. There's a sliding scale. It's not black or white. And that's why it's a complex question. And that's why I wanted to create this podcast, because I understand there's a lot of complexity to this question and it's a hard question to answer. All right. But at the end of the day, really the deciding factor here is, did you get into being a business owner because you really just wanted a vehicle to coach? And if that's the case, you're probably an assistant coach. If you have no interest in being the business owner and no interest in that additional responsibility, then why are you a business owner? Right. And then on the flip side of that, what do you value? What makes you happy? Is it purely helping people? Yes, you want growth, but is it mostly, purely is probably a bad word. Is it mostly helping people? Or is it mostly growth, leadership, success, power? Is that more your driver? And both are totally fine. And I think that's another thing that people struggle with, is they think one is bad, right? They think one is bad. Oh my God, it's bad if I only want to help people. I should probably want to make money. I should probably want to be successful. Oh my God, I'm so selfish. I only want to grow. I only want success. I should probably want to help people more. It's okay to have one that's favored over the other. And that was a big thing for me as well. And this is part of the reason why I think I've had really fast success. I say fast, I've really been doing this since 2015, but since we started NLCA, we've had relatively pretty fast success. And one of the reasons why I think that is because I understand myself and I understand what drives me and I understand what makes me happy. And I don't give a fuck what other people think. I really don't. I just lean into, this is me and I am unapologetically myself. And I think that is why I've had relatively pretty quick success, is because I'm not in my own head questioning back and forth who I am, what I stand for, what route I should go down. And I think honestly, that is the biggest reason why people have a hard time in this industry, is because they're questioning their damn selves so freaking much. And yes, I know we're talking about assistant coaches here and I'm kind of going on a rant and I'm loving every second of it, but you have to know yourself if you want to have success in this industry or in any industry. So I'm going to wrap up everything here with saying, I hope these questions allowed you to get introspective. I hope these questions allowed you to question and ask yourself, what am I doing here? What am I building? Why am I going down this route? What direction should I go? And here's my here's my last tip. Commit to whatever you decide. At the end of listening to this podcast, what is your gut telling you? And commit to that. And don't second guess that. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out and you go the other direction, and that's totally fine. But stop second guessing yourself and commit to the path that you think is best for you. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this. If you do feel like you need to be an assistant coach by the end of listening to this podcast, if you're like, that is the direction that I need to go down, I'm going to link up a resource below. It's going to give you a little bit more information about becoming an assistant coach in the Assistant Coach Academy. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed this one, screenshot the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to this to or on, post it on Instagram, tag me up and say, Chad, I freaking love this one. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.